Today is June 21st, Season 2, Episode 3 of Talk Story, live from the new and improved First Shop.
That's right, we moved.
I am Brad Wells, and I've got some of my friends here with me tonight, as always.
Yeah, they're Christian de la Iglesia. Some call me Tupac. It's cool. Here, First Surf Shop. What do we got over here? Who's to my left?
I am Atena Sherry.
Mon Sherry, yes.
My first time on the Talk Story podcast.
Oh, I love when you do you're doing the voices already.
I'm horrible at it. But
It's like, I don't even know.
They all sound the same.
You just murdered my name.
Right.
That was like French, Lebanese, Russian, I think.
None of which I am.
I know, but it's just
nationality-wise.
such a great combo. I can't wait to go to your food court.
Here's some hummus with some vodka.
Enjoy.
Good luck.
Enjoy, you asshole. That's the French part.
Yes. And on AV, and always there with a smile, Mr. Caleb.
Caleb, Wishart, keeping it all together. Can't believe we're doing it again. We're back. It's been a little while. I feel like coming back to the roots.
Well, we all last year that we did this, we really had a lot of fun with it.
It was a lot of fun. And even the stuff that we did this year in January and February, or January and March, I guess it was, as it played out.
That's right.
The first one was fun.
Yep.
At the shop. And then we went up to
Nomad.
Briny Breezes.
You know,
Love
it's
that
funny.
name.
You know, it's funny. The first
Is
one
that
that
what
we
that
did.
town's called?
Uh-huh.
Briny Breezes?
Yep.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
I know.
You know, it's funny.
There should be a novel written around that.
A little known fact, because I didn't tell anybody, that when we were doing, that's why it's very little. No. Was that when we did that first one this year at the shop and stuff like that, there was this, it was almost like this inclination to want to tell you guys that I was going to have to move the shop or whatnot, because I had known already. I'd known that, and that this was going to be the last one we were going to do.
You were holding back from the cast?
I know. I knew that was going to be the last one that we were going to do at that in that spot, and and up until that point, I was kind of wrestling with this, like, do I tell you guys so that you guys know and make the show whatever it is, because we knew that it was the last time we were going to be in that spot, or do I just let it run, however, and just be able to appreciate it and enjoy it for what we do out of it, and just kind of keep it as is and stuff like that. So I chose not to say anything, but it was weird because
You chose to lie.
Yeah.
You chose to lie.
But it was funny. It was weird
That's what
because
I'm
going through the whole show, it was just sitting in the back of my head constantly. Like I was kind of recapping. I was taking it all in. Maybe I was really selfish with it. Maybe I was really selfish with it, because I was like taking it all in, being like, wow, this is the last time we're gonna do this out of this shop. And because I knew that I figured we
did have an impromptu kind of recording of, let's just call it.
There's some stories that are in some files somewhere that
We gotta break
might
those out.
come out
day.
at some point.
from
Keep
the
an
party.
eye on
First Fiesta.
From the
The
close-up.
podcast feed.
That was a good party. God, that was such a good party.
That was,
Yeah.
I got a story from Pony
Maine.
Maine.
We need to get into that.
oh, yeah, we forgot about that.
All right, let's go through our normal protocol, because I guess we need some structure.
We do.
Things I'm scared of.
Weekly happenings is. We did the introduction. We did.
Yep.
everyone's
Yeah,
here.
we know
All
who. Yeah,
Good.
Atena.
We know
Doctor,
what this is.
doctor,
It's a little
and
while.
doctor.
Weekly happenings is our next segment.
We've got a happening tonight.
Yeah.
We are doing this.
That
Minibar.
one too.
Yeah. Well,
Minibar
We are
is having
doing this.
their...
I'm new at this. We've only done this like 45, 50 times.
Right, and by the time this comes out, Minibar's thing would have already happened.
Well, Minibar had their 1 year anniversary, is having their 1 year anniversary tonight.
Currently.
It'll be over by the time this is out, but congrats.
But it was fun. I gotta
like
say
we
that,
had a great
pretending like I
time.
was there.
We had a great time. We saw all of you there, and it was great.
High five.
Can't wait till next time.
Dude, you were crazy.
God,
Oh, I can't believe you did that.
I know, it got out of hand at the party that we haven't been to yet.
Place your name into said.
I like having a mini bar in the neighborhood.
It's a cool spot.
They've been very gracious as hosts.
Yeah.
We've done some events there.
That little upstairs section is epic to watch surf
Love
videos at.
Doing that comedy show with Turner like a
I'm so
month
bummed
ago,
I missed that.
that was quite a happening.
Fun.
And
I brought my mom.
Your
She was
mom,
like Turner's hype man.
Your
Really?
mom and Turner
Yeah.
really hit
Oh,
it
Arsenio
off.
Hall.
My mom was like, she's very vocal, so she was really hyping him up on every joke.
She was fact checking
That's so
everything
funny!
he said.
It was no, it was like borderline like heckling, and it was like a loving heckling. It was very strange.
she's
To the point that Turner was like, okay, cool, yeah.
And she's just Swedish, so she doesn't know she's doing it. It's just like a cultural.
Yeah, I don't think she
She's
realized that
going
she
all
wasn't
out.
supposed to be doing it.
It was
And like
awesome.
Turner like gets on, it's like, how are you guys all doing? And she's like, I'm doing
just
pretty
fine.
good tonight. I've had a slight problem with my left ankle recently. And everyone's like, what? You're not actually supposed to share.
She's like answering all his questions.
Like all the rhetoricals. Your mom was
Right.
like, just pass me the microphone. I'd like to respond. That's
She
good.
thought it was an interview.
It was an interview, exactly. It actually turned out great. That was a really fun
Great
night,
show, yeah.
and I think that you're right. That space is very conducive
Yep.
to like parties of 25, 30 people. Or
Yeah,
so.
where
Maybe
it's,
more.
yeah, it's tight enough that it feels full pretty quickly, but it doesn't take much
It's
to
such a
fill
really
it.
nice space. It
Yeah.
feels good up there.
Yeah, and it's right in the
why.
middle of a neighborhood. You know, it's not like where there's clubs and other restaurants and whatever across. It's attached to a great hotel, and it's right in this like locals neighborhood, and it's kind of like your little local bar, you know. And it's it's a great place to kind of go have some
I like
drinks,
it.
just chilling, or if you want to put something together, it's definitely good. Check them out, Mini Bar, up on 4th and Meridian.
Yeah.
June 4th and 5th.
Yep, June
Yeah.
4th and 5th. If you want to do stuff, birthday parties, whatever, I'll come as a clown. I'll make balloons. Hire me. I'll make balloons. It's a barbecue for you.
What other weekly halves we got? Oh, we got Karen.
Karen. Oh, you're gonna hate me, but she's gonna hate me.
Goodfellas
Good
all
thing you say
day.
my sister.
Karen won.
Local girl Karen.
Yeah, won a.
Monteagudo.
Eight.
Monteagudo. I'm gonna ruin it.
Oh,
You're
just
really
murdered
Why
that.
I even went on the limb to go ahead and try to do it? I was just setting myself up. I'm sorry.
Lashing
Karen.
names down
I'm sorry.
tonight, Chris.
Karen entered a contest to surf at First Point Malibu during the
Relic.
longboard contest
Oh.
tomorrow, Saturday. What is that? The 22nd. And so she's gonna be able to go out there and I guess surf like I think they're
Mock
calling-
contest kind of thing?
Yeah,
or-
like an expression session. And they
Dude,
just
who
like,
cares? It's you
take
and
a
2
rip,
other people surfing
or
the
maybe
boom.
3.
Wow.
Whatever it is, it's pretty
Wow.
awesome. And so she was looking for a board out there.
That's why she said, putting it all together, Karen. Sorry.
I was trying to help her. I saw that Awaco is having not Awaco. Firewire was having like an event at Malibu Surf Rider, and I think they're doing free demos tomorrow.
There you
I was
go,
like,
Karen.
That's convenient. So you get to get a free board and go surf Malibu.
There you go.
So she won the contest. She got into the contest, and don't fuck up.
Do us proud. I mean, just have a good time. I mean,
No, I know.
Catch
Yeah.
waves.
Dude, catch waves.
It's gonna
Have
be
fun. That's who wins.
So awesome.
That's who wins.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer person.
No, I'm so stoked
She's
for her.
like such a great person
Yeah.
to have that
It
happen
was
to.
cool when like Florida surfers get into contests other places and stuff because you feel like just, you get to they represent.
Oh, speaking of,
Other local Florida
yeah.
Zoe Larson,
girl,
Mia Larson.
Mia
Mia
Larson
Deus.
was in the 9-foot.
9-foot
and
single.
single.
Yeah.
So
Representing.
Valley. Yeah, representing it. She's been
She
representing a
got
couple of the contests.
a little clip in their like recap video on Instagram. I was like, oh, I know that girl.
That's so sick. Yeah, local girl Mia Larson coming into her senior year of high school.
Really? She
Uh-huh.
that young?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
for her.
Yep, and she shreds. She's got great style, and just overall, like surfing as well as just overall style. She's just, just a good throwback to like that young punk scene where it's just like
I don't even know what scene that is.
yeah, it's a
cool
hybrid.
one.
It's a hybrid, right? It's got like this like punk. At the same time, it's a little hippie-esque. It's grainy. I don't know. It's just grainy. It reminds me of like Milwaukee's Beast. If I were going to describe it, if I was going to describe it as a beer, it would be the Milwaukee's Beast. Mia Larson, you're the Milwaukee's Beast.
Wow.
Okay.
But
there you go.
her and her sister and the whole Larson clan are pretty epic. So it's pretty cool to watch some of our own kind of be highlighted in a big contest like that somewhere in Bali as well.
Yeah, and like people who like learn on little Florida waves and then go off and surf these epic vlog sessions and these huge.
Yeah, a little guy named Kelly Slater. He's done that.
Yeah, that's sick.
No, but this is really
Gives you hope.
No, that is
kind
full
of stuff,
homegrown for sure.
which is kind of cool to see.
Absolutely. What else we got going on? Well, there's no waves. That's not going on.
More
Sorry, did I go into
local
reports?
hops. Caleb came in with some interesting and good news.
This is your report and forecast too. We don't have waves, but we got fresh pavement on Meridian from 5th to what, like 8th or something.
Yeah, so we got 3 or 4
If there was
blocks.
like
So
3%
smooth.
grade, it would be almost waves, but it's really flat.
really flat asphalt,
But
brand new
really,
board.
really flat.
We like that. That sounds pretty
It's
fun.
super fun.
It's really
But
fun.
Meridian's really busy. Don't get hit by a car.
Right.
But the
Or
new
Or else,
road-
or else it would be your ass's fault.
Ah.
I'm back. I'm back.
And other news, this is one that Chris and I like a humble brag here, not so much humble. Chris won an award at Surf Rider Foundation.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
No way.
And they're having a annual summit in California at UC Irvine.
In
And
August.
he has been invited to accept his award. I've been invited to speak.
Oh, that's where you're talking.
Yeah.
Wow, it's the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so this is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You'll have to record a show out there.
Gets paid to fly out there? Doesn't.
Paying,
But that's fine.
Award?
paying to fly out
Right.
there.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna try to work on making it happen to get out there as well. But it's super cool. you
I
know?
think it would be very cool if you could come out
Yeah.
and accept the award.
Yeah.
Personally,
Right.
because I mean, you earned it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because I don't feel like I earned it. It's like just, and it's a lot of it is just
giving away
no,
square
it's
footage
about
of a very
my
small
commitment to
shop.
my local community and the fact that I go out there and I try to do things for my local chapter and just the community in general, from helping coordinating or donating or whether it's time or stuff, and I try to stay active. I think all of us in one way could do something. We don't have to do the same thing, but as long as we're doing something to help, we're kind of moving that needle a little forward. So it's something I think I've always done since a kid. Maybe it's because I was a Boy Scout as a kid, and it's kind of one of those things where you just try to always be a good person. You try to do well. I don't know if that's about being a Boy Scout always, but just be a good person, just do stuff, and I'm blessed and humbled to be recognized for it. It was really nice, and I'm stoked to hopefully get out there and maybe we can have our own contest at the booth.
Have you looked at the? I got the packet from them. It was the first time in my life that I've ever been sent a packet that there was a line. They're like, "Will you be staying on premises? Yes or no?" I'm like, "Yeah." Will you be needing meals? Yes or no? Will you be going to this? Yes or no? Will you need surfboard rental? Yes or no? And I was, pardon?
Surfboard rental
I
was included?
breezing through this little multiple choice questionnaire, and I was like, yes, I feel like I've made it. Somehow, something
You've got
clicked.
surfboards on your rider now.
I was like, this is pretty epic. And so,
Can I room charge that?
only Surf Rider Foundation would put together an event that I guess has that as the questions, the most important questions for the event.
I'm really proud of our local chapter. It's come a long way since I first really got a little bit more hardcore involved in the early 2000s, and it's been challenging locally. You'd think that a lot of the surfers that have grown up here would have been a big part of the movement that is Surf Rider and whatever it is to kind of help it, as I feel like it's in other places, especially California, and it's not like that.
No,
and
it's really
it's it's partially sad that the people that come enjoy the beach the most, that might have been enjoying the beach the most growing up, aren't doing anything to help. And again, you don't have to be out there in the day.
That's kind of a damning sort of statement. I don't know if they're not doing anything. They're just not doing it in the way of Surf Rider Foundation.
Sure, fine.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. It's not that you're not doing anything. You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. But more so that, when it comes to things that they're doing, a support, like
You'd think they'd gravitate more towards it.
Right.
I was surprised by that part.
Right.
Absolutely.
And, again, you don't have to be out there picking trash in the dunes, donate some money, $10, $25. Spread the word for events that they got going on. Just little things that everyone can kind
It's
of
fun.
do.
We did the paddle out the other week. They did paddle out a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Oh, for
For
International
Surf Day.
Mm.
Yeah, we had a little.
The one before that. The cleanup one.
Was that
Yeah.
the
drilling
one
is
for
killing.
yeah,
one.
drilling is killing?
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Oh,
hands
that's
across
good.
the sand.
Yeah, that was really big here when we had the BP oil spill in 2000.
Yeah, we went from the jetty and we got it all the way up to 8th Street,
Wow.
Wow.
which is 8 blocks of people holding hands. So it was almost a mile's worth because about 10 blocks here is about a.
It's more than a mile from 4th to the jetties. Oh, no, you're right. 4th to the jetties half.
Yeah, every 10 blocks here is roughly about close to about a mile or so. So yeah, almost a mile's worth of people holding hands. That's pretty epic.
Yeah,
This
that's
one I
epic.
think we only got up to about 5th Street. From the we didn't even get down to the jetty. No, so we probably had
I did
about,
like this one though because there were so many different organizations that were involved.
right.
Like Oceana was involved,
Yep.
and Surf Rider, and then all the. I mean, we had
We had a bunch,
Representative Shalala came.
right, Representative Greco.
Mm-hmm.
We had our Commissioner Gongora
Mm-hmm.
that was here. Who else?
So it's cool to see. I think Commissioner. Oh no, ex-commissioner living now.
yes,
in charge
who is
of-
now the Chamber of Commerce guy.
Mhm. It's good to see just like an event like that continuously go on, and then also have more and more people kind of like join the cause
Right.
over because it's been almost.
But being a barrier island and surrounded by water and all these things kind of affect us, you'd think there'd be a lot more people, especially because I see in all these Facebook groups, all these keyboard activists that are just like, bah, bah, bah. You're just like, well, I didn't see you, and I didn't see you there, and I didn't see you there. And again, like, well, we all can help differently. But, it'd be nice to be able to see a lot more physical presence of the people that are sitting behind keyboards and pointing out what's wrong. Be like, well, why don't you do something that's right?
Yeah.
Again, not trying to sound like Mr. Negative.
Well,
I'm just saying,
at the
I want
annual
more people to
summit
come
for
out. I
Surf
want people to
Rider,
do things.
I'll tell you that I was looking through the program, and there's some really cool speakers, some really cool programming on how to get the message across, how to live your life in a more like economic,
Eco-friendly,
thank you,
sustainable.
manner, and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually looking like a really cool
Event?
Yeah.
What is it? What is this coming up?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in UC Irvine
Oh, the conference that you guys or the
Surf Rider Foundation
yeah.
Annual Summit.
Very cool.
yeah,
Pretty interesting.
yeah. I'm gonna try to make that one.
I got very nervous as soon as I saw the other speakers. I was like, oh gosh, really?
What are they asking you to speak on?
It's a panel that's on, I guess, like social media and community building. It's kind of roughly, I guess, described at this point.
Right.
But it's the person that I'm on the panel with, along with Mary Lou.
I was gonna say I think Mary Lou was on there also.
And I think she's moderating, and someone from the WSL who's in charge of like their communities, and someone from Surf Rider Foundation, and me. And so I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
wow, this is kind of no, it's those people are in charge of a lot of community,
Yeah.
and I mean, I definitely have like my battle scars from trying to do stuff like this, and I have some things to share. But it's definitely very humbling to be. And like Guy Kawasaki is like one of the keynote speakers, and I'm like, oh gosh.
No pressure.
It just got to like Chad Nelson.
Don't screw it up, Frank.
the CEO of Surf Rider and president or whatever. Like, oh gosh, it's kind of intense.
Like,
But,
where's the bar? Where's the bar? Where's the no shots before this? God.
Yeah,
Why do we do this at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
10 p.m.
It's actually funny we're talking about this. This isn't like surfing related, but I'm giving a lecture next week at the
Oh, yeah?
National Poetry Foundation.
Cool.
And they like invited me to give it, and I'm like so nervous because I feel like, what do I have to tell anybody about anything?
Is that natural? I mean, do you feel
That's
that way too?
exactly
I feel
the way
so
I feel about it,
intimidated.
and I'm trying really hard to, I guess, like reflect on that exact point.
Yeah.
What do I have to? And I've done some speaking engagements here and there for work, for my life outside of surfing, I guess you call it, and I get good feedback mostly when I'm just authentic. And
Yeah.
if you kind of like put your guard down and show people like all the screw ups you make, they're like, oh,
You gotta humanize it.
I screwed up that, and then I'll have some sort of story like what happened to me, and sometimes like I recover miraculously out of, I don't know, some intelligence or experience or just luck, and then sometimes you just crash and burn. You learn
It's
something
relatable.
from something
Yeah.
out of it, right?
And I think that's like the biggest part of speaking that I'll probably try to dwell on is
Well, I feel
in either situation.
But you don't want to stand up there and be the person that's like, I know how to do everything right. Like, you
right.
want to be honest.
I'm an influencer.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, shoot me.
Seriously.
I mean, it happened to us though, and when people recognize us for it, we were like,
But I think they recognize us because we humanize things. We keep it real. We're not like coming from a position of influence or like super knowledge. Like we're telling you how it's supposed to be done. It's like, yeah, we're just average Joes, kind of just talking story, and people have commented that they feel like that they're sitting right there with us and they're commenting as well. And that for me is a testament of like we're keeping it just real. We're just keeping it real.
That's the part I agree with. I do think that you do have a lot of education and just like experience in something that other people just don't.
Right.
And they aspire to that, and because you are in the position that you are in, I mean, you run and own a surf shop, and you have for a decade or more in this shop.
Right.
Prior to that, you've been surfing like your whole life.
Right.
And so for someone coming into it that's like brand new, they're like, you know which way the fins go in the board.
Right. Right.
I don't know that.
Right.
You know?
And I guess maybe I approach it from more of a position of like just sharing that kind of stuff of just like, oh yeah, it's like, hey, just embracing, versus maybe some others might be like, oh, there's a way to monetize this, or oh, there's a way to go ahead and put myself higher in that pecking order, and that's something I usually run away from. I'm just like, I don't want to.
There is something very interesting that just dwelled on me, or occurred to me rather, is that in my life, I think I come across people sometimes that do something rather extraordinary for me, and I'll say something like, thank you. And they will say, of course. And I hate it. I hate when people respond, of course. Because I'm like, you don't understand. When I say thank you the way I just said thank you, like I'm recognizing a special behavior, trait, gift, whatever that you just performed or whatever.
And they minimize it by just saying, of course.
Yeah.
Because
they're like, oh, I do that all the time.
Because like just in the way that you just were saying, it's like, of course you share your knowledge and experience of surfing with people. Like, who wouldn't do that? The fact of the matter is, most people aren't like that.
Right.
And so it's like I just try to like show like that extra bit of gratitude where I just don't think it's a matter of happening.
Right.
It's because it's not. It's like you can go out of your way, and you do regularly. Out of your way is your way.
Right.
And
oh yeah, totally. Like, I mean, I started surfing a lot on South Beach like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, like a lot. And Chris was like a huge reason why I was like coming back to the shop and just like hanging out and like meeting everybody. And like now I live here.
And he just goes, of course. And it's like, well,
and it's like,
of course for you.
So should I be an influencer now? I mean, should I go ahead and get 1.2 million
different because
followers?
that's less personal. Because what
I
you're doing is actually harder than being like on online.
Again, like
and
this is a way of doing that same like. It's not bad to be an influencer.
Right.
It's just in the parlance of our times.
Right. Right. I think because things have become so targeted in how advertising, marketing, and everything goes on that it's like everyone's hip to the game of like, oh, you're an influencer.
Oh my gosh.
It's so weird, and it's just I would never call myself that.
So this isn't like
and B, like it's just like, again, maybe there's that part of me that's goes back to this like let's not make it a big deal. Like, whatever, we're all in this together. Let's, it is. I'll share this info, and you share some info, and if you don't, that's cool too.
So
whatever.
weekly happenings, Chris becomes an influencer.
Way to tie that back down, because I was looking for an outro into the next segment.
She's good on the segue. Good on the segue.
We need a segue there. Report
I'm
forecast.
a little rusty on my segues.
Report is it's flat. The forecast is it's going to be flat.
It's as flat as the new Meridian.
It is as flat as the new Meridian. Actually, we had a little bump in the last week.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
It was
Sunday
super fun.
was
It was
epic.
offshore
Sunday,
and the lightning.
Monday.
Yeah, it was
Ning,
like
ning, ning, ning,
gloomy
ning.
and weirdly
Pouring
apocalyptic.
down rain.
Some of my favorite time to surf.
and
It's
glassy
like,
calf high.
yeah, weird
Yeah, it was a
green light
very
and like
strange
rain.
light. Yeah, the lighting was really weird.
teal.
And then
Teal.
Yeah, like when the light is like teal. You never seen that? Like during a rainstorm? And it's kind of like greenish blue, like
Right.
got that weird overcast,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and then it starts raining and it's very like,
And everything blends. You're just
yeah, it
when you
becomes,
can't see
yeah.
the end of the ocean and the beginning of the sky.
Right, no sky.
Yeah.
Love those
I feel like there
days.
could be a
Surreal.
song or a poem that can be written off of that.
Oh.
Especially when it starts
Don't-
raining and it splashes back out the other way.
We turn this
You like
into
That-
lose all perception.
spoken word.
Well, okay, explain this to me, or maybe at another time. But
Riddle
when
me
it
this,
started
Batman.
raining,
Yes.
I was paddling for stuff that wasn't a wave. It threw off the calibration of my wave reading machine. The rain falling on the surf, the extra texture or whatever,
Yeah.
threw everything off. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, like your
I had
distance.
and then I
A
would get
raindrop or a
recalibrated.
ripple I can catch.
Yeah. No, but like
Sometimes
there
both.
was waves, but then there was sets that were a little bigger, and I was
Yeah.
sitting a little further out,
I
whatever,
had the
waiting
same
for
vibe.
those. And then the rain would start, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's a wave," and it never was. Once
Very
it rained.
strange.
Super weird.
It doesn't even have to be raining necessarily. I just think it's like when you lose.
When the light gets funny, it does that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get like super flat light.
You lose your
it
like
throws
spatial
off your
judgment.
calibration.
Yeah.
What's that called in flying?
Oh my gosh, you were following. Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Like in something so inconsequential as surfing, you're like, oh, I just paddled for a wave. That sucked. It wasn't because my depth perception was messed up. But what if you're flying a plane and the depth perception is weird because there's weird light? Then it actually
Autopilot.
becomes like a real
You hit
problem in life.
You hit autopilot. It's just like
They give you instruments. That's what those are for.
Yeah, that's true.
It's called. Gosh, the heck is that name for it?
Samsonite.
That's a
What
luggage.
just happened? I think I just derailed this really hard. What were we trying to talk about? It's been flat.
Finishing up the fast surf reports.
Do
It's
a
been
trip.
flat,
Take
but
a trip.
but we had one epic day on Sunday.
That'll come up later. Take a trip.
Gosh, what's it called?
Oh, that's it. Show's over. Brad's
I'm on a.
on a
It's
roll.
alright. You can think about it for a little while. We'll edit the silence out. It'll be perfect.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what is interesting that our local legend Davo Bagley had mentioned was that while the shop was closed, there was no waves.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
And
For
then
the
we kind
entirety
opened
of
up,
the
and then
time
all
that
of a
it was
sudden there was a
closed.
little wave. Like
Yeah.
we got the keys, and it was just around Memorial Day weekend, and we had a little wave during Memorial Day weekend. And then we finally kind of opened this last week and stuff like that. There was a little wave. And kind of like so the ocean was sad that we were gone.
Yeah. It's been super
So,
flat. Well,
South
yeah.
Beach surf locals, you're welcome. We brought the waves.
I'm
back.
honestly kind of glad because I remember after you closed the shop location, and I was like, wow, I wonder how long First is going to be closed for, because like I don't think I have enough wax. I was like, where am I going to get my wax?
Those real life things happening. Like, oh, that means I have to go up to North Miami to Island Water
I
Sports
know,
and
I
have
was like
wax.
kind of glad
I'll
that.
never go up there. What am I? Oh my God, crisis.
Yeah. Like finding things stored in drawers.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting 45 days of being closed. Of closing,
45 days it was.
Yeah,
Wow.
closing the shop from the moment that we closed the shop till we reopened. You know, and we probably didn't get the key. No, not probably. We didn't get the keys until the end of May. So really, kind of put this little shop together in about 10 days to 2 weeks almost. You know, just kind of hustling, and it's been a mission. There's been a lot of like trusting the process kind of moments, which I was like, fuck that process. I can't trust shit. I'm scared. You know, it was nerve wracking. You know, we went from 1,500 square feet to just under 400 square feet. We went from like being somewhat freeing of, you know, having space out front and whatnot, to being attached to a great hotel here at the Stanton Marriott on 2nd and Ocean. So we're stoked that we were able to kind of still stay in the neighborhood. Still be on the main break, still be on the ocean, because there's not that many places we can do what we can do. But, you know, in a sense, like, going this small has actually been a blessing, you know, to be able to kind of
you were saying earlier, everything is within reach from behind the counter.
It's true.
It's like being on a boat.
Great. You know, my favorite thing is not having a bathroom to clean. You know? But no, it's been a challenge, and to tell you the truth, like, up until I got the keys, I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to reopen, you know, because I had only budgeted some and saved some money for X amount of time after we closed, and I went through, past that threshold, and all of a sudden I was like 2 weeks after that threshold, and I was like, it was cutting into, you know, being able to buy product to be able to reopen. Yeah. And I was, you know, I had a lot of sleepless nights, and there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to do this. I'm going to just do something else. Maybe what it was that the shop was supposed to close, and it was supposed to have that great party, and it was supposed to just be that moment in that time. And then I had Chinese food, and then there was a fortune cookie that kind of came out, and the fortune was it was something along the lines of like, you know, not to shy away from tough moments, because, you know, the relish in the victory feels so good, or something along those lines. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then the next morning, you know, after not sleeping more than maybe 4 hours or so, you know, I kind of just set things in motion. I just got into like just this robot, like, okay, I got to go to the city. Let me see what it's going to take for my license to get switched over. Okay, this. And it was just one of those days where everything just started to fall in place. And all of a sudden you're like, all right, well, I guess I kind of set this intention in motion. And then before you know it, it was like, okay, well, we're doing this. And then the build out started happening. And the build out really only cost me maybe like $400 or $500. Because we had a lot of stuff already, product wise, and material, wood that we pulled off the old shop. And it was just really get some paint, some more screws, and some more beers.
I was gonna say before, you were like, oh, it was sad last talk story at the old shop, but like, I was like, well, we're sitting here around the same counter and on the same stools, you know, like with the same, like, you know, shelves for fins like behind the counter, and like the same board displays.
So it was really important to try to make it feel homey, to kind of still have some sort of familiarity.
Feels more homey.
Same tchotchkes.
It's cozier. It's like, ooh, I like it in here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're stoked to be here. You know, we've got great partners in the Marriott, as well as our other affiliates here, the Lolo Surf Cantina, and Azabu Japanese Restaurant. And we have a pool deck here that we can throw events.
Love that.
That you can overlook the ocean. You know, you can look at the break while you're having a margarita. And but then also, it's one of the only pool decks on Miami Beach that you can do that. It's fun. So I'm looking forward to more events that we can do out of here. We did something for International Surf Day that was kind of put together last minute. We had like 30, 40 people kind of cruise by, so it actually was really nice.
Cool. Spatial disorientation. But what else is it known as?
Vertigo?
Vertigo! Thank you!
Is that what you get, you think, when you have...
Yeah, because you can't see the horizon line.
Oh.
That's why. So it's depth perception.
Right.
Yeah, kind of, but it's different.
Also, the inner ear.
It's a balance thing.
It's an absence of sensory.
No, but it didn't screw up my surfing. I just couldn't see which way it's going waves. So it wasn't balanced.
That's what I say too when I have a bad day.
It's a difficult.
My surfing was still good. I just, you know, it was the wave, man.
It's my vertical.
The surfing's
still
fine.
in the same spot, way out in front of the pocket as normal.
All right.
So being that it's summer,
new shop.
New shop. It's
new
great.
shop. Who dis?
He segued into that with no problem while you were looking that up.
Yeah, got that. No, it was actually more Atena that did it. I was listening.
So naturally, we're in the summer. We're in new shop.
Queen.
And here we go into the next one. Bring it in, Chris.
Well, you know, it's It's what most people go to surf shops for, to buy things for their next trip, you know, to go somewhere. That's what you do here.
That's
what you do here. It's what you do here when you're coming into the summer.
Leashes, maybe you board if you're lucky.
I've had people buy wax weeks in advance to their trip, and it's almost as if that's like your down payment on the emotional value that comes into going on a trip.
They're like ready for
right,
it.
like all of a sudden you get that wax and like it makes it more real.
Now I'm going.
Right, it makes it more real.
My house smells like wax.
Right.
I know I'm going.
Yeah, you know, you're kind of like, you wax your board up right, you got that perfect thing of wax, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's gonna melt in that plane.
You also come by to like let Chris know that you're going on a trip. You're like, yep, I'm gonna need 12 bars of tropical wax.
Yeah.
Like,
it's gonna be hot.
what do you need 12 bars of tropical wax for? Going on a trip? And the guy's like, I was hoping you would ask. Yeah, man, going to Indonesia. You're like, oh man, here comes like a 45-minute story about where this guy's going.
Yeah, I actually had it a couple days ago. A family that came in that was from Jacksonville, that they were flying out to Nicaragua for a month. A whole family, mother, father, I think maybe 2 or 3 kids, and he had that. It was like 12, 14 bars of wax. I was like, where are we going? Where are we going? And I was like, oh, Nicaragua. I'm like, it's a lot of wax, thinking it was just maybe a short trip. And he was like, oh, no, we're going a month, and they're actually doing some missionary work out there as well, which is really cool.
Cool.
And but it is always opener to a great conversation.
Okay, good though, because my least favorite thing is when someone's like, yeah, I'm going to like Bali for this whatever, and you're like, oh, you surf? And they're like, nah, I don't, and you're like,
Why are you going to Bali?
No, it's just like the worst when people go places that are great surf destinations for another reason, and they like aren't gonna surf while they're there, and you're just like, oh man, I wish.
Brief me on your speech because I will give it for you.
Right. It's one of those things where people are like, you going to South Beach to surf? I thought you'd be going there to clubs.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
The other direction.
The reverse commute.
But, so, I mean, what's on our topic here?
So
what to consider
for your Central American surf trip? So,
do you consider where you go as part of that? What do you consider? Like what country you're going to go to?
well, yeah, I think
What's a hot spot right now?
This stemmed from I went to El Salvador in April. Caleb was there.
Which was what threw off our whole Talk Story schedule. We were supposed to do a show when we were down there. We didn't do it. It threw everything off. Sorry, we're back now.
And it was different than other places, like kind of like remarkably different than a lot of places I've been to in Central America. And so I was like, oh, this is different. Why is this so different?
Also, a lot of
What's
other.
a plane flight?
2 hours.
And then how long does it take to get to the
45 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, a lot of other surfers from South Beach or this area have been to El Sal since you guys went too.
And before.
And before.
Yeah.
Is El Sal trending? As
It's
far
a
as surf travel
trending
from here, South
destination.
Florida kind of thing?
I think all these places kind of go through their ups and downs, and these are the kinds of things that you need to consider. Costa Rica, everybody knows. Go surfing in Costa Rica. Go visit Costa Rica.
Right.
Ecotourism, whatever.
Nica's along that same program too, wouldn't you say?
Except for the strife they've been having.
Right. But most of these places that have surf camps or surf hostels or properties that they gear towards surfing have that kind of figured out in the way of drivers and how they get you in, how they get you out.
But I mean,
there's still a risk.
I mean, El Salvador is still on like the do not travel list by the CIA.
There is that.
And like, they're like, you should not be going here. This is not a safe place for Americans to travel to. It's like right behind.
Did you feel that way when you went there?
No. And it's partially due to the fact that I have traveled and I know that there are certain things you should and shouldn't do when you go to places that are like that. It's like, you don't want to go on your own and travel around in a place that's known for like robbing gringos violently.
Right.
It's like,
Doesn't make you want to spend money, does it?
It's like, well, that's a dumb idea. You shouldn't do that. And there's ways to prevent it. Just like go with a established local operator that is safe, and like you can do your research and figure out who those people are, and if you travel with them, you're probably completely fine. which is why I felt really safe going into El Salvador, is because we stayed at Hotel Mushanti, which is owned by a guy that's from El Salvador. He's also like educated in the States and like went back to his home country and lives there and runs his hotel, and he's doing seemingly what I would say are like all the right things.
Right.
And there's not a moment that I felt unsafe really that entire trip. And that's because we got picked up at the hotel at the airport by the hotel with a guy that was holding the sign that had our names on it and the name of the hotel, and he knew what flights we were taking already. And I don't know that like I would go to El Salvador and just like jump in a rental car and be like,
no, let me figure this out.
Let's ride. I'll ask directions on the way.
Why does my rental car have bullet holes in it? So, it must be a sticker.
I think
it's
like
so funny.
The El Salvadorians are like super nice people. As far as like I met and interacted with folks, and we did deal with like a bunch of different folks throughout the community, and kind of like not stay at the hotel the whole time, you know. But it's still a factor, and when you are thinking about taking like a trip, I don't know that I would want to take a baby there, you know, like
right.
Because I don't know what medical facilities are going to be like,
right.
And if the baby gets sick and whatever, like maybe that's not the best option. Maybe Costa Rica is a much better option for something like that.
Right.
Nicaragua, you know, is like the same sort of situation as maybe like in El Salvador, where yeah, you're fine if you go with the right people and you do the right things, but if you do the wrong things, like maybe not so fine. You do find yourself in trouble, and that's what it really is in like all these places. Is like if you do find yourself in trouble, how bad is the trouble going to be? Because everything is always fine on like a surf trip or a vacation until it isn't, and that's like where it gets scary. Personally, for me, like when I plan out my trips, I'm like I want to know, like if the shit hits the fan, like what's the worst case scenario, and how are we going to deal with that if like I am watching like Caleb's leg like drag behind his body as he's like limping off the beach. You're like, oh geez, like his leg is like not attached to his body anymore. Like, what do we do now? And like, I hope that my friends would also like be thinking sort of like in these similar terms. Like, okay, all right, we need to like call the U.S. Embassy right away.
Right.
We need to like.
Well, I think you should probably get a tourniquet around the leg first.
I just think it's more like a displaced hip or something.
Got it.
But you know.
So this is obviously one of the first things one should consider when they're going down to Central America.
Well, so one thing
what
is
country?
safety.
What country am I going to? According to how it applies to me. Am I traveling with family? Am I going solo? Am I going with friends? Am I going with friends that are all gringos? Am I going with friends?
It's true. That makes a huge difference.
Do I throw in a Spanish person in there to kind of help out the process a little bit?
Well, it's not just like because you can speak Spanish and look whiter than I do and still wind up in a crap situation in those countries. It just
or it'd be completely opposite. Look Spanish and talk whiter.
Yeah,
which
it goes all different kinds of directions. But it's just I think about knowing who you're traveling with is really important, and like what their aptitude for handling situations could be. Because it's not like the state. You can't just like pick up the phone and dial 911.
Yep.
No one's coming.
Yeah, because I don't think that number works down there.
In some places it does.
Oh, does it? I was gonna say I thought it was a couple more digits.
Yeah. So safety is one thing that you should consider, like what risk you're trying to take if you're
that wasn't really
or
supposed
like
to be
willing to take. That's not the main thing.
But
there's also other things about
So
taking
that's
a
really
surf
what
trip, right?
like the whole idea of this I guess topic was not to like dwell on that part, but
right.
It is super important.
But look into it if we're going.
Yeah, and I think like surf travel has changed a lot in the last let's say like 20 years or so. Because it's become a lot more common for people to go abroad to go surfing.
Yeah.
And so everyone like went to Costa Rica and they're like, yeah, everyone speaks Spanish and we like drink cerveza and go surf olas and like, yeah, great. And then like, let's go to Panama and they're like, oh, it's like kind of the same thing. And then like, let's go to Nicaragua. Like, oh wait, they just had like
I think a big
government overthrown like, and then or El Salvador, they're coming off like a really gnarly civil war and like.
Yeah, you definitely can't be just like an ignorant surfer that you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go to this beach town. It's like you should.
I think a huge factor also is that a lot of these countries and even townships, not all of them, but most of them have kind of recognized the tourist value in it. Yeah. That they're also more so recognizing the return value of tourism. Because for a lot of times, even for Costa Rica back in the 90s, it was like, they didn't care if they robbed gringos or tourists and stuff like that because another one would come in. And so they were just playing the volume numbers, not taking into consideration that person that got robbed or whatever would have an unfavorable look and might tell somebody else or this or that. And, and that there is that importance of making someone stoked on their trip so that they do come back, so that they do promote it, so they do that,
And then also in that point too, like I think if you travel anywhere as a surfer, you should also like think about where you stay and like whether it's like locally owned, like at Mishanti in El Sal, it's like owned by an El Salvadorian. Like there's a lot of places that are owned by foreign people, and like the money's not going back into the community. So like thinking about where you're staying and where your money's going, like as a tourist. Because, like, even if you're a surfer, you're still a tourist, like, going there for recreation, so.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, I think that's, like, how you become, like, a good traveler, is to try to not just, like, be a parasite on all the places that you visit and just, like, suck all the good you can out of it. I got great waves. I dropped in on everybody. I hooked up with 15 chicks that didn't even speak English, and then you're like, congratulations, you're just, like, a jerk.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that, but like that's not something necessarily to brag about. But there's other things that go into going on a surf trip too. Is like, what is your skill level in surfing? What are the waves likely to be like while you're there? How far are you willing to travel? What are you expecting to do like on your trip? And these are all like really important factors that can make or break, like if you're gonna travel like with a significant other or something. Like,
what are they gonna do while I'm surfing?
Yeah, or what are you gonna do while they're surfing?
Right.
Or if it's like a 10-hour drive and like they live for that 10-hour drive because they thought that was like the coolest part of the whole trip, and then you're just gonna sit around and just like surf the same beach every day.
No, I get it. I mean that's kind of what Costa Rica's always been kind of my go-to with the family. Because I enjoy my surf trips because it's easy with the fam. It's got all the first world amenities in the sense of, Wi-Fi works really well. Places that you stay at, you can stay at somewhere on the beach that has a nice house with a pool. If you want to go and splurge a little bit, you can go ahead and get a local chef to come in and kind of make some lunches and dinners and kind of add to it. And it's not that expensive, and it's one of those things where, as as a dad and husband, you kind of just, you go out there and you get to, I don't need to surf the 10, 12 hours a day that I would do with the boys and stuff like that. And it's, I get my 4 to 6 hours.
The boys can't surf 10, 12 hours anymore anyway.
I know. Believe me. Try. we give it the old college try, that's for sure.
We can sleep 10, 12 hours, especially that like siesta in the middle of the afternoon in the hammock. Yeah, we got 10, 12 hours of sleeping.
So it's nice because you wake up, you go surf for a couple hours first light, and everyone's still sleeping, and then by the time you come back, you have a little breakfast, kind of hang loose, maybe jump in the pool a little bit, and you get look, if the winds aren't on it, get out maybe another hour session. Yeah, a little second early morning sesh, and everyone at that point, people are awake, and maybe the fam comes down to the beach and they kind of pull shells because the morning's just getting started to go for another surf, and you get to come in just seeing smiling faces because everyone's just stoked. And because there's AC.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to come back
certain
to
things like there's AC. You don't have to worry about mosquitoes, biting the crap out of you. And some of those amenities are great. And then you spend the whole day doing, let's go check out a waterfall. Let's go do this, and that.
All right. So you're hitting on a couple of different things. First of all, you're going to Costa Rica. So for us, it's like 3-hour flight or something like that. What's your sort of like radius or for driving from there? How far out will you go?
We've pushed it with Gigi when she was just like 4 months, and then again when she was 8 months. Yeah, 4. She was actually in Costa Rican waters before she was in our local waters. It's funny. I had her on a boogie board at 4 months.
That.
Yeah. But we pushed it a little bit. I'm blessed and thankful that Gigi's such a great traveler. That since she was born, she's always been kind of just like easy goes and just kind of cruises with things. So, but we had it was back then. It was a little bit of a hike because we had, the car seat, the baby stroller, like all my surf trips were completely different. Also, it's like board bag and like all of a sudden like everything else, everything else that goes. Because then at the same time you're bringing baby formula because she was particular, and then you got the diapers and all that other stuff, and you have to bring that stuff, and that's bulk extra. It's like 2 bags worth already on its own.
It's like I could just pack all these diapers on my boards and
pushing. You're right. It helps out. But we pushed it. We went from like Guanacaste up north all the way down to Manuel Antonio, pretty far south.
Wow.
And that's like a 6-hour hike. With the
easy.
Baby? Yeah, it's a 6-hour hike easy. So, but I think, like for us, it was like just timing it. Like even traveling in the air, it was like, all right, let's time her bottle for the moments that we are lifting off as well as landing. For for her ears and stuff like that. It's 6-hour drive. Let's go ahead and break that up into a couple 2 hours. Where we stop somewhere for lunch and we hang out, stretch and this and that, and then we go back in. So it's just being a little bit more mindful for the family in that sense.
I think that goes for every surf trip though, because even with like some of the folks that I've traveled with, no one's traveled with babies, but it's still like there's babies in the group that are just like, wait a minute, we gotta go 2 hours. I'm not driving 2 more hours. You're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna stop at this one beach. We're gonna like surf and then like get you some lunch and like it's the same sort of like you need to know who you're traveling with and what they're capable of handling to do what it is that you're out there to do.
Yeah.
And so like going to El Salvador was, like we said, 40 minutes from the airport.
Do you try to like vet people before that?
Yes,
like someone that's never maybe been that, where you're just like,
take them to Fort Pierce first.
You're just like, let's see what you're like.
Honestly, you should on like any trip, like regardless of like surf trip or not. Like if you're traveling with someone, you need to know like what their capacity is, because like I don't know, in my mind, I'm like there are days where you don't have like if you're trying to get somewhere, then you're eating gas station food or whatever food in the car on the way, and like getting there in a matter of half a day or however quickly you can.
As quickly as you can.
As quickly as you can, like with consideration for your bodily functions, but like that's basically
barely.
it. Like no comfort involved.
There's a bottle.
Yeah.
So it's a
Right.
plastic bottle.
And it's really frustrating.
We already pulled over to pee 4 hours ago. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like,
Are you serious? Like I had 7 lattes.
And traveling.
To drive.
Yeah.
Can I please pull over? It's like, let's pee while you're driving.
Fuck.
Yeah, but I think
this road is really bumpy.
But yeah, you should know like what kind of trip you're trying to take, right? With who?
That is exactly the point. So
of this like summer surf trip.
What is the point of the trip? Are you really like stoked on surfing the first day you're there?
Yes.
Because most
Right,
of the
some
time
are.
everyone is.
And then some are like me, where I'm just like, I could just go ahead and get to wherever I'm at. If it's kind of like there's the ability to go ahead and surf just before dark, I'm at a point where if I just traveled a bunch, I'm like, you know what? I'll just have a rum and ginger and just kind of enjoy the sunset, apprate the waves coming through.
Lord.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, could you hit the gas a little
in the
harder?
water
Because
now.
there's like 42 and a half minutes until sunset, which gives me another 12 minutes of light, and it's going to take another 38 minutes, and I'm already screwing the fins into my board. So I'll surf 2 ways if you can just go faster.
It's funny, probably about last year when I went to Costa Rica and Ami was there with his family and whatnot. He kept, he was full grom and like, surf this, that, like in the mornings, and I was just on a casual like, sipping my coffee, I'm just taking it in, and for me it was an opportunity to adjust my timing with the rest of the world. Like the world has its demands, right? And every different level, like, I need it yesterday, I need this tomorrow, I need this now, whatever the case is. And it's so easy to get caught up in that process, and it builds anxiety in you, and I gotta do this and whatever, and sometimes if you just stop, you realize that all that isn't really necessary. Like a simple apology or this or that, well, it can extend things a little bit longer. And with Ami, it's like, you know what, no, I want to just sit here and sip my coffee and watch these ants carrying leaves to wherever they're going. And I just want to kind of get into my own head. And it was one of those creating my own pace versus the pace that was going on around me of what all this. And I used to get sucked up into that energy of just like, oh, you know, and it's just like, ah, and you feel, and then all of a sudden I felt like it's always thrown me out of rhythm, you know, and then you're trimming high when you should be low, this and that, and then all of a sudden you have a bad session. You're like, wow, I should have just been on my own path, you know, and my own pace and stuff like that. So for me, like in situations like that of getting to certain places, I gauge it, right? If I'm hyped for it, then awesome. But I've stopped making myself feel bad for not following through on something like that, where it's like, dude, you just got here, you haven't surfed in such a long time, look, there's waves, it looks really fun, you should do this. And it's just like, you know what, it's like an hour left, I got the fam here, we just got here, it was like we just drove for 4 hours, I'm just gonna go ahead and...
You give me anxiety right now.
Yeah, that is like,
I'm like, wax up, just wax up and come out, quickly, it's getting dark.
But it also depends, like, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like, what type of surf trip are you trying to take? Are you trying to take a surf trip where you can, like,
I'm taking
really,
one of those surf trips,
like, you're also taking a vacation, right? Like, you're on a surf trip, but you're, like, relaxing, too, right? So, like, you don't want to, like, be on... I get it. Like, you're like, oh, I'm on 100% business mode all the time when I'm in Miami running my shop and whatever. When I go on vacation, I want to, like, take a minute to breathe and be with my family.
But I'm trying to practice that in life in general, not just on trips.
Right, yeah.
Where I'm kind of like, even with Jess, when Gigi was born 4 years ago, like, there was... I think any of us could work from sun up to sundown and then some. You know, there's enough work out there and whatever it is that you're doing, that whether it's you're doing stuff physically all day and then afterwards there's computer work that you could be doing, or you're doing computer work all day and all night. Like, there's plenty of work to be done. But I made a conscious effort, and unfortunately, you know, or fortunately, whatever you want to look at it, you know, it's maybe hindered a little bit my work life with people, and I apologize plenty of people, like, hey, I'm kind of catching up and whatnot. But for me, the moments that I get to spend with Gigi, right, I'm going to remember those moments that I spend with Gigi that I might have blown off an email or doing some work. Right. I'm going to remember that more than that person that's 3,000 miles away, that's expecting something, that doesn't get it tonight and gets it tomorrow.
But, like,
I'm not going to remember you years from now. I'm not. I'm sorry. It's all my accounts. I'm not. And at the end of the day, the moments that I have with my daughter are going to outweigh that.
Right.
And those moments become fleeting as they get older and stuff like that.
So the question is, like, the way you feel about that, like, guy with the account that you're like, oh, that email could be answered tomorrow. But what you're also saying is, like, you feel that way about a wave now, too. Like, you're like, oh, I could go surf this wave right now, but I could also, like, chill with my kid and then go surf this wave tomorrow. Yeah. So, like, what you're really saying...
Go on.
It's like what this conversation has really become about is, like, being a surfer without kids versus, like, a surfer with a kid.
Oh, I don't think that's it at all. I don't have kids. What? And none that I know of. And then... But
you're saying you still chase waves, like, you're like, oh, I need to surf right now, immediately. Right. Where Chris is, like, being like, oh, I have, like... I want to chill with my fam at the hotel for a couple hours.
My version of that has, like, turned down so much.
Since, like, when you were younger.
Like, but there's also to be said, like...
I could surf 5 waves instead of 50.
Again, like, going back to, like, an Ami example from last year, and, you know, Ami surfed when he was younger.
I'm like, give me whatever wave, I will ride a ripple, I will be there 4 hours, it's ankle high, like... Get me there now.
Been surfing since I was 11. I'm 43. That's 32 years.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
Versus someone that might be just surfing for a couple years. I've surfed. Like, I've been blessed. I've surfed from living in Hawaii to surfing, you know, Central America and everything else. And I've surfed, you know, like, I've surfed. Like, I get it. Like, I enjoy surfing. I want to continue to enjoy surfing. But I think I've gotten to a point where, like, I'm just going to enjoy things, surfing and everything else, at my pace. At what and how I want to do it. You know, versus that there's other people like that are new, might be green in surfing, might be new to it. That the Stoke is very good
co-host.
Yeah, I know. Wait, so what are we taking this trip?
No, thank you surfing. What's going on here?
Yeah. It's your welcome surfing.
I feel you. I'm just playing. I'm living the same way. I don't.
Well, you're king of the, like, prime window.
Yeah. Well, that's like a different thing. Like, I don't need to surf for 4 hours. I'll just surf for the best 40 minutes.
That's insane to me.
And I
well, being a South Beach surfer, it's life. You know.
Yeah, but
there's
Brad like sits watching the waves. And then he's like, oh.
Yeah, but he's got an opportunity that most people don't. He lives right on the beach.
Yeah.
You know, and his work is either at his house or down the street. You know, so it's within that proximity. There's a reason he doesn't drive. There's a reason why, you know, he orders his food to his house and stuff like that through the shopping cart.
Keep that Hawkeye on.
It's that he has everything encapsulated within what makes him happy, right? There on the beach and everything else. So he's able to do that. It's the same thing with having the shop. The opportunity to be able to jump on the surf because the shop is right on the beach. Like this versus anybody else might be working. Like all of a sudden it's like, shit, I gotta go home. I gotta grab my board. I gotta do this. And it's like,
2 hours later.
do I leave? Right. Because of traffic and stuff, and then you miss that window. Because that window is very much the incoming tide. You got 45 minutes to an hour, and then you time it with like, the wind's kind of laid down, or there might be a little, squall that comes through, blah, blah, blah. And there's been plenty of misto surf that comes through here that only the far and few.
I haven't missed a swell in 5 years.
Yeah.
Not one.
So, but you
and then
you either live your life like that.
Waves, pretty much, for those.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the difference. Is like you're saying, is it's not the 2-hour drive from downtown to Kendall to South Beach.
Yeah.
Which is the majority of people. You know, the majority of people live off the island. You know, and they live on mainland. And God knows, in the old shop when we had plenty of space. How many boards did I hold for people? You know, I had
just in case.
Right, I had plenty of boards for people and stuff like that because there's that, you know, that relief in knowing that, you know, if you wanted to go surf, you didn't have to go through this. It's like straight to the beach, boards there. You know,
borrow a board,
right?
Or leave my board at the shop,
right? So, you know, perspective. It's all about perspective.
I think that I think is really like what is most important tying back into the topic of like taking your surf trip to Central America. What's important to you? What's important to the people you're going with? And
how aligned is that?
If you get a spot like Minchantes where we were there, Brad can quit surfing when it's time for breakfast, and I can go until the wind's been on it for 45 minutes and my nipples are bleeding. Yeah. Because I've never seen waves like this before, and I don't know how to get out. Because it's a walk. But the reason we could do that was because it was a walk from where we were staying to the break.
Right. Versus like all of a sudden you guys are going in the
Everybody doesn't have to be on the same page.
Right.
No,
also, how long are you there for?
Super helpful.
Like, if you only have 4 or 5 days out of your summer, like maybe you don't want to go to Costa Rica and drive, you know, 6 hours to the break. Maybe you want to go to El Sal and go 40 minutes and be there for the most of the time.
And stay where you can walk to the water.
To the break and
2 minutes.
It's a big
don't have to
consideration.
coordinate with everybody.
How much luxury do you want? How big of the group you're going? Do you need, to be mobile to go from here to there? Like, these are all really big considerations. These are the things that like make or break trips. And like you asked before, like, do you like vet people? It's like, absolutely.
Dude, I've gone on trips with best friends of mine where we are fighting on day 3.
Yeah.
And
that long.
Right, and it's one of the and it was a situation where the house that we're staying at isn't on an immediate break. And there's like a cool little break over here, or we all get in the car and we go over here, and it's one of those things where you kind of should have been at a spot where it's like you could have just walked out and surfed right there for that person,
so
and if somebody wants to jump in the car or whatever, it's just one of those like, all right, well, I'm going to go down and surf. I'm still kind of like, you know, relaxing and waiting. I'm going to finish my breakfast or whatever, and be like,
no,
so the person that wants to go is just like,
no, we're going.
I'm going to go. So if you want to go, you're going to have to walk. And then you're just like, well, F you, bro. Why do I have to walk? Why don't you walk? I'll take the car down there and I'll meet you afterwards. And so, yeah, like all those things have to be considered. Have you guys been on surf
trips together? You two?
Up coast?
No, like out of the country, like Brad and Chris.
I was gonna try to make it on there
because I'm seeing really conflicting ideologies here about like what. Like I feel like Brad would be the one like, no, we're going surfing now, and Chris is like, I just want to finish my cereal.
No, it's funny you say that though, because I take forever. Like Miguel,
oh really?
Miguel and I taking a bunch of trips, and Miguel is like
first thing.
Oh, like he's the worst. I've traveled with him all the time because he's like the worst and the best at the same time.
He's a savage, no?
So savage.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, all right, we're gonna surf early. And we're like, yeah, of course we're gonna surf early. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna set the alarm for 4:30. I'm like, it's not light out until 6. What are you setting the alarm for 4:30 in the morning for? And he's like, because you take a while to get going. And I'm like, you're right. All right, fine. 4:30, set it. I'll wake up because the alarm goes off, and it'll be 3:45. I'm like, what?
You wanted to make sure.
What in the actual hell are you doing? He's like, you take a while. I was like, right. But you said that you were setting it for 4:30, and I like mentally prepared for 4:30.
Now I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Now you like totally screwed my whole thing up. Like, why did you set it for 3:45 in the morning? Like, I haven't even slept yet.
I'm still finishing this beer, bro.
I'm like, I know. I was like, my beer is still cold, and you have the alarm going off. You jerk. Coffee's not even served for 2 hours.
I think Caleb and I
expecting
literally
to
thought about doing that too once when we were like gonna go up to Fort Pierce. We were like, oh, that seems like Brad wants to go or something. And then he's like, you were like, what time are you going? And we told you half an hour earlier because we knew that you would
I knew that
take
you did that. I know that too.
I know what you guys are doing, all right?
I'm a smart enough guy, and I've been around the block enough times to know that people are lying about when they're supposed to be ready.
We live in Miami. You have to lie by
Budget that
at
extra
least a
half
half
hour.
an hour.
Listen, that's why the door hours are what they are here at the shop. It's 10-ish to 7-ish. It's like, yeah, let's give us the
Benefit.
Benefit of the doubt.
at least a 15-minute window. At least. So that's trips, right? So that's how we go into trips. So one of the topics that we had kind of coming up afterwards is water quality.
Let's save it.
You want to save it?
I want to save it.
Okay, we'll do it another time.
I want to save it.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up with
Tune in
with
next
trip.
time for water quality.
Yeah, water quality is a big thing.
Hopefully it's good then, because it's good now. I don't know. It is actually good. We just checked the waters out. Locally,
Okay.
all the beaches around here, from here all the way up to Sunny Isles, are good. With the exception of 93rd Street and Surfside was a little moderate, but still not so bad. Typically, water quality around here in these local parts gets a little off when we have rain events.
Which we have had.
Yes,
Many.
it is that
Been
time of year.
pouring for
So,
a week straight.
Last couple days has been a little drier.
Yeah.
So, testament as
And
to
it's
why.
Dry for the
Until like
foreseeable
next
future.
week. It seemed like next Tuesday or Wednesday or so it starts to pick up and get at least a little bit more increase in the rain. But
Yeah.
Bradley, why don't you walk us out of this?
Today is June 21st.
Summer solstice, first day of summer.
Oh yeah.
That's why it was so freaking hot outside. Jesus.
It only
Yeah,
is gonna
it
get
was.
worse from here,
I
guys.
know, it's just starting. God.
Just to be positive.
Nobody wear jeans for the rest of the summer.
Season 2, Episode 3, Talk Story. Out of the new and improved F1rst Surf Shop
That's
here in
right.
South Beach,
Sure enough.
Miami, Florida, USA.
I
I'm Brad Wells. This
Christian de la
is-
Iglesia.
Atena
And-
Sherry.
Okay.
The back of Caleb's head. You're
Right.
welcome. There he is.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Oh,
Yeah.
the jazz voice came in. So damn smooth.
Smooth jazz.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Yes.